What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla Minus One news and updates. I honestly have no idea how my week is shaping out to be. Is this video even coming out before Minus One? I don't know. Minus One drops on November 3rd in Japan. For those of you who don't know, we've got to wait until December 1st in America. Until then, I'm going to do my best to catch up on Godzilla Minus One news, and in this video, we're going to be running through a bunch of Godzilla Minus One news, mostly coming from the director of Godzilla Minus One, Takashi Yamazaki himself. And so, without further ado, I suppose we should jump into it. Starting out here with our first piece, this is a little bit of art created by GNA, one of my favorite Godzilla artists. This is his Godzilla Minus One, and I really like it. It's very looming and imposing. I like the power lines, I like the composition. I just always love me a GNA art, and I'm not the only one. Director Takashi Yamazaki also approved of that one. He was a big fan. Speaking of Yamazaki, he's a big fan of memes as well. He says it's a great honor to have memes made of Minus One, and he shared this one out confirming that Talo Man will defeat Godzilla at the end of Minus One, and it's honestly just such a shame that that information leaked ahead of time, because that would have been one hell of a reveal in the theater, as Yamazaki lamented on Twitter. You never really think about that, but being a director, having memes made of your film would actually be pretty exciting. Yamazaki then reposted a trailer reaction for the Godzilla Minus One main trailer featuring your boy. That's why he did it. It was because I was in it. It certainly wasn't because all of the 100 other people in it. He did it for me. There was a trailer reaction compilation made for Godzilla Minus One. Director Takashi Yamazaki retweeted it, which actually makes that the third time a Godzilla movie director has engaged in some form or another with a trailer reaction that I made. Although the other two times it was a little more directly, which was cool. But that's very exciting stuff. Shout out to everybody who's featured in that thing. There's a few friendly faces in there if you've been around on the channel long enough. In addition to that, he reposted MKO0319 Loves Godzilla trailer reaction, basically another photo compilation made on Twitter. Again, featuring ya boy. And it's just really exciting to see the director retweet that. I mean, that's a great thing for all four of us in that tweet. Also for the guy who tweeted it, who's such a nice guy. So it was really cool. I mean, that's cool stuff, and that's a common theme of the video, is how down to earth and grounded and humble Yamazaki seems, and how exciting it is that he's directing this movie, because he seems like just truly a great guy. Yamazaki appreciated this fan post with Honda and Tsuburaya celebrating the 70th anniversary of Godzilla, where they kind of created this little fanfic about the two, and it was nice to see him interact with that as well. He also engaged with the tweet comparing Shikishima to Serizawa from 1954's Godzilla, and Yamazaki said it's similar, which I don't know what that means. I don't really understand the original tweet to begin with. It's Google translated, so is it really accurate? Probably not. Is it comparing Shikishima more to Serizawa or to Ogata? Can't really tell, but one thing I can tell is that Yamazaki said it's similar, which I don't know what that means. Does that mean that we're gonna get a similar Serizawa stand-in type character with Shikishima, or is he gonna be a bit more of an Ogata, as the head bandage would indicate? I think that's a bit more accurate. Yamazaki didn't just direct Godzilla Minus One, he also directed Godzilla the Ride and Ultraman the Ride, which is far less talked about, but Ultraman the Ride and Godzilla the Ride both opened up, and they both came out with photo ops. So you can see some people here posing with Ultraman and Godzilla, and Zeton plays a big role in Ultraman the Ride, so that's why he's there as well. Yamazaki then shared this photo of the VR Godzilla that you can do like some sort of, I think it's more of an augmented reality type thing with, at the Japanese theme park that has these rides, so there's that as well. And then finally, Yamazaki celebrated that you can now do an Ultraman the Ride and Godzilla the Ride double feature. My favorite part of that is just those retro posters he made for it, and that's really exciting stuff. Yamazaki then went out of his way to praise the extras working on Godzilla Minus One, which is not something you see directors do often, go out of their way to praise their extras, people they don't even really interact with. Yamazaki praised his extras for keeping the secret of who was cast in the film a secret until the official casting announcement was made. He then praised the extras for keeping in their laughs during filming and for maintaining a very serious atmosphere, which is a problem Godzilla films have faced ever since 1954, with on that film a lot of people still taking it not very seriously and laughing and running away with smiles on their face, and that has been something that has plagued Godzilla films ever since their inception. And so Yamazaki is praising the work that his extras did here, and I've got to say, from the destruction scenes we've seen so far in the Minus One trailer, the extras are doing one hell of a job. It is truly terrifying to watch. Yukinami shares their experience, and they were an extra on Godzilla Minus One. They were on set, and they said that they were running away from Godzilla in the Ginza attack near Oishi and Shikishima. They shared their experience and how great of a time it was, and that's really exciting for them. Yamazaki then thanked them for keeping quiet about the film until now when they have appeared in the trailer, and he appreciated their silence on the film and how they kept the secret so tight-knit. Hiro Unsai celebrates their experience on set similarly, saying that they were an extra as well, and that Yuki Yamada and Kamiki greeted everybody kindly on set. 2U1107 shares images from the Godzilla 1954 re-release that occurred, featuring a massive Godzilla head that I was not aware would be there. It also looks like there's a Godzilla 1954 exclusive figure there, and that all looks great. So you've got that promotional photo with the posters in the background, you've got that massive 3D Godzilla head, obviously a -1 poster with a countdown for how many days away they were, and then yeah, an exclusive Godzilla 1954 figure it looks like. And that 3D Godzilla head is just so sweet. I think that is so cool. But Yamazaki shouted them out and thanked them for coming to the 54 re-release to support him. Yamazaki then praised his VFX artist, stating that he was super impressed with the detail of Godzilla appearing in the reflection in Oishi's eyes during the train attack sequence. It's a very hard to notice detail, I didn't even notice it, and he was shouting it out on Twitter. Shinji Nishikawa, a Godzilla artist who's been involved in the franchise in an official capacity since 1989, and just a wonderful man, tweeted his thoughts on the Godzilla Minus One trailer, and I thought his take was quite interesting. Nishikawa compared how Japan is in Godzilla Minus One to how they were during the Great War, during World War I, stating that they have basically been set all the way back there, if not more so. And so he was quite surprised by the status Japan has left in post-war and how Godzilla is gonna really have the advantage on them. He also wonders if Japan's secret nuclear developments that were made during the war would be brought back up in this film and maybe even used against Godzilla. I mean, maybe, according to his theory, the bomb that goes off against Godzilla in what seems to be the Hibiya Ginza area in the Minus One trailer could be a Japanese nuclear bomb that maybe they continued to develop in secret. Maybe that's what Noda was doing. Maybe Noda was on the front lines of the Japanese development of atomic weapons, and in the Minus One universe, he succeeds in making one only as a weapon against Godzilla. I mean, that'd be a very interesting alternate history perspective, and would also makes it more of a human issue and a universal problem that all of us have to deal with. Yamazaki was really impressed with how quickly people identified the ships in the trailers, saying that he thought it would take people a lot longer to figure out what ships were in the trailer, meaning some people might be accurate with their explanations of what ships are in there. Of course, I've talked a lot about that in my trailer breakdown as well. Sinar Araki notices the old railway model store in the trailer for Godzilla Minus One, and Yamazaki mentions that he did in fact include that because of how iconic it is and how much he associates it with Ginza. Yamazaki then confirms that by 1947, Ginza had been considerably rebuilt, and so Godzilla has lots to destroy. This was in response to somebody asking about the Ginza reconstruction that happened after the Tokyo fire raids, and why the city seems to be in pretty good shape despite the fact that it suffered heavy damages during the war. Well, there's your explanation. By 1947, the city was pretty well rebuilt. That's a shame. They just got through reconstruction and now they're getting knocked down again, from 0 to minus. A Tengakatan x Godzilla Minus One collaboration was revealed. This is a Godzilla Minus One collaboration with an alcohol spirit. I actually don't really know what alcohol spirits are, to be honest with you, but here's a collaboration between Godzilla and an alcohol company. This is for Godzilla Minus One. You can see Godzilla on the logo here. It's celebrating the 30th anniversary of this company, and you can see Godzilla in the water with this fish. It's the Minus One design. I actually really like that little drawing of him. And then they are selling bottles with that design wrapped around it, and it looks pretty neat. I actually think it looks pretty cool, but they're on limited supply. Yamazaki announced that, and so you can go check out your links for that down below. It was revealed that Godzilla Minus One is heading to Switzerland, so there will be an official release in Switzerland. So shout out to all the Swisses out there. Is that what you're called? Shout out to all you guys. Godzilla Minus One is headed your way, so enjoy the film. A Godzilla Minus One documentary featuring Takashi Yamazaki was slated to air on October 7th in the Nagano Prefecture in Japan. Obviously, we'll talk about that when we continue to cover Minus One news, but I've already shown off some clips of it on the channel before, and I've talked about it before. It's got a lot of great information on the behind the scenes of Godzilla Minus One, and it's honestly probably a better watch once you've seen the movie than not having seen the movie first. Kuroron gets a Godzilla Minus One flyer featuring new promotional images. They picked this up from a movie theater, I believe, and while you do see some standard movie posters here with the Godzilla Minus One traditional movie poster there, the far more interesting one that they picked up was this pamphlet that when you open it up has these photos on the back, and these photos feature a brand new banner for Godzilla Godzilla Minus One, a bunch of the press photos for Godzilla Minus One, including the one with Shikishima, Oishi, the one with Noda, some of the other ones we've seen, but it also features some photos we've never seen before. For instance, this picture of Noda down here at the bottom, standing in front of this screen. We've seen that scene in the trailer before, but that's not a photo we've seen. This photo of Ota down here at the bottom interacting with a child is brand new, and is this the child she loses during the war? I'm not sure. That would be very sad, because that child's very young. But that's an interesting one as well. This photo of Tachibana we've never seen before. He's standing in front of a motorcycle, and I really can't get a sense of it, but the background looks very dirty, and I'm thinking this could be in the aftermath of a Godzilla attack. And then up at the top is a brand new photo of Shikishima dressed in a brown outfit, so something we've never seen him in before in the trailers, unless this is his military outfit. He's got something strapped around his shoulder, and he's standing in front of these clouds, and that is just a beautiful photo right there, and I'm very interested to see where that comes in the movie. I would think earlier in the film, because he doesn't have the head bandage. A2 Hiro finds 3 new Godzilla Minus One banners at the 109 Cinema Osaka Expo City. Yamazaki celebrated this, excited that these photos had been released, and these are wonderful. So you've got one of Godzilla standing in this destroyed city. This gives us our best look at Godzilla to date, standing head on, looking at the camera, roaring upward with blue spines, as we'll talk about in a minute here. You've got the Godzilla Minus One standard banner, black against white. That one looks classic. You've got the one of Godzilla with his back turned towards the camera, which is a great one. That's the wallpaper for the movie. And then just a more close-up photo on Godzilla roaring here, looking up towards the camera. These were the key art made for Godzilla Minus One. They are new promotional photos for the movie. Not really new anymore. They're about a month old, but they're still new for this channel, even though I've used them in thumbnails a bunch of times. Nice Pick 356 celebrated that this was his key art. He made this stuff, and Yamazaki praised him on Twitter, praising Mr. Otani for his hard work and appreciating all that he did for Godzilla Minus One, and that's just such a wholesome thing to see the director of this movie do. It's so nice. There's a couple different versions of this, so this is the high-res original art. Here's an upscaled version of it, and then of the one of Godzilla roaring in the city, there's a bunch of different formats of it, including some vertical and some horizontal, some very widescreen, while others not so much. So there you go, there's a bunch of different stuff. To go over this first one, you've got Godzilla with his back turned towards the camera, and this is the pose we've seen Godzilla in a couple times. We have that render released to us. This is from the poster as well, so this is nothing new, but what is new is the tail posture here. The tail is a lot longer than it is traditionally. It's a lot more exaggerated than we've seen it before. It's flicked upwards, and it really gives a sense of those really weird distorted tail spines that Godzilla has in this movie. The burning city looks incredible, and you can see a hidden mushroom cloud in the background, and that will be a reoccurring theme in the Minus One promo art. It'll show up in later promo art, but it's very subtle here and very hidden in the background, but that is a mushroom cloud, indicating that Godzilla will be a survivor of a nuclear bomb in this film. Whether that be the one that goes off in the Ginza Hibiya region or not, we don't know yet. I really like it. I think it's very apocalyptic. I think it sets the tone very well. I think it's pretty epic. I'm very excited to see this in the film, and overall I think that it really conveys a sense of destruction and despair. And the next one is of course super exciting because it gives us our best look at Godzilla yet. He's looking right at us, he's looking up. We don't really have any full body shots of Godzilla in the trailers yet. The only things we have are those renders that we got a while ago. The destruction in the city looks great. Love the little fires burning. I really like the detail of them placing the green tram by his foot. That's been a reoccurring symbol in the trailers. The destruction really looks wide scale, and while I don't think that this happens in the movie, like this isn't a screenshot from the film, it's just a poster, it's still really cool to see. And there are some neat details. Like if you look in the background of the one featured in the theater, which you can't really see on the other promotional art released, or at least you can't see unless you're looking at the vertical version of it, which shows the full Godzilla with the tip of his tail, you can see what I believe is the Nippon Theater in the background, which is something Godzilla visits in this new film. That's really cool, and it's really cool to see, and I wish they'd release the full widescreen version with this entire picture in one frame. That'd be wonderful. To date, we have yet to see the entire frame in one shot, but it looks great. I mean, Godzilla looks fantastic here. He looks much skinnier than he does in the trailers, which I think is actually quite interesting and cool. He looks very powerful. I love his stance. I love his roar. I love the scar on his cheek. It looks great. He doesn't look all burnt up, so I don't know when in the movie this happens. I'm thinking before the bomb goes off. But the most interesting thing about this, and the thing that everybody talked about immediately, was that Godzilla's back spines are in fact glowing blue, and that's, I'll take the fall on that one. I feel like there wasn't a lot of discourse as to what color Godzilla's atomic breath was going to be until I came along. Everybody just kind of assumed it was going to be blue because it always is, but then I came along and thought, what if it was red? And then I got a lot of people on the red train, and there was a lot of people excited about the red, and this photo confirms we're going back to a classic blue, which is nothing we shouldn't have known because of course the blue beam erupts in the trailer, so we should have known it was blue. I mean, I knew from that point on it was blue. But here's the photo showing Godzilla's spines lit up all blue, and one thing a lot of Japanese fans noticed is that it's not the traditional glowing blue like it is in the Godzilla films that Toho has made previously. It's a much much more confined internal glow, like in Legendary's Godzilla. So this is clearly taking some inspiration from the 2014 Godzilla and the way he lit up his spines, and I think that's great. That's my preferred spine light up method. I think it looks wonderful. I really like when the whole spine glows rather than just the tips, or when it kind of just glows all of Godzilla. I think this is far cooler, and I'm glad they went this route for the new movie, and I'm very excited to see this guy's atomic breath in action, and I cannot wait to see how destructive it is. So there we go. That's all we got for today. I hope you enjoyed. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you very much for the support I get on the Patreon. It really goes a long way towards helping me make sure I can keep making videos like this for you. It's a great way to support the channel. If you want to support the Patreon, you can use the link in the description below, where you can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man out.